Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of The Outer Realm here on United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM from beautiful New Orleans. Hey, Zach. Hey, Dave. Outer Realm is fully sponsored by the amazing folks over at Folgers Coffee. It's a amazing. Thank you very much. And of course, Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, who is responsible for our intro and outro. So that is Justin Snicker, an award-winning composer of Halloween horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music. You should check him out anywhere, basically Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, anywhere you have any streaming platform. So that's always a bonus. Easy peasy. Anyway, we would like to extend a very happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the U.S. who celebrates it. And of course, we feel very privileged if you're taking some time out of your holiday to hang out with us. Please note that we are on all kinds of streaming platforms here. We are on UFO Paranormal, International Public Radio, YouTube, UFO Paranormal, on Facebook, Joe Montaldo under UFO Undercover, News on the Flip Side, also Canada's Most Haunted / me, and The Outer Realm. And of course, you can find us on UFO Paranormal on Twitch. I had to actually put a little memo up there just so I could see where we're at, because otherwise I can't remember them all.
No.
So anyway, hey Janie, hey Wayne. Yeah, so
Hi, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks, Zach. Hi,
yes.
Dave. Hi, Wayne. Hi, Jeannie.
Copy a
Oh my gosh,
gobble.
it's so nice to see you guys here on Thanksgiving. Are we sober?
Right.
Yes. Gobble
That's
gobble.
it.
or if you follow the pizza lovers group that I do. Hi,
Hey,
Michelle.
Michelle.
Happy Thanksgiving. It's eat pizza with a turkey holding the sign.
I know.
I would be eating the pizza. Yes, we are. Dave just concurred that.
Absolutely.
Sober.
No,
We're happy. Happy turkey day.
absolutely. No, it's all
Absolutely.
good. It's all good. So, yeah, my gosh, it's just already, Thursday. And I mean, things in Canada, I know things in Canada are a little bit crazy here. Hey, Michael.
Oh, are we going there? Hi, Michael.
Yeah, well, no.
Are we going there? Wait, where are we going? Where are we going first? Where are we going?
Oh, just the shopping thing. Like it's been really crazy busy here, and I'm like, we're not in America.
No, actually,
we're in the US rather, but no, I know.
I bought a small TV screen not long ago. I've been talking about this with you and Joe forever to do this so that I can actually see what I'm reading, because I wear reading glasses. And anyways, long story short, of course they didn't carry it in the store, so I had to go online, and I won't say what store it is because they didn't give it to me for free, so I'm not giving it away.
Right.
But one of those bigger stores. But anyways, I wasn't happy that I had to do this online. I like to see things in person. I'm one of those tactile people who has to touch, feel, and everything.
Things, I know.
Yeah, and it's just a 32-inch screen, but of course they're not going to carry it in a store because that is not something people are buying. Gamers use them for their computers and stuff like that, but it's not something that, yeah, wait till Cyber Monday, Michael said.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Michael, we'll shop together on Monday.
Yeah, right there. I know.
But anyways, the deal was there early. So what exactly is Black Friday? Because I had the deal a week ago. No, it was the whole month. I had it a week ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but they made it a lot easier for the Canadians to jump the border to shop because they're giving you 72 hours without a COVID test coming back. So please keep the virus on the other side, Canadians. That's all I'm telling you. Because the borders the numbers are high. The numbers are high at the borders. So the border cities of America. So please just keep it there. Okay. Don't bring it back. Our numbers in Ontario are growing again, and we don't need this crap. Just saying. So, because I know here everybody's driving to Buffalo, right? And
I know. Bubbles is feeling feisty.
I am, because I'm tired. Because I'm actually one of those people that follows the rules, and so is Michelle. And we're tired of being tied down here. Okay. I feel for my friends who own businesses in the service
Mm.
industry, like hair and nails and stuff like that. They can't go full out and have it open
Some
to
of us have
many.
hair and nails to do. I
Yes.
know,
And
right?
this,
Oh
and
my,
I
I
did
know.
spend time doing that today, but they can't go full capacity
No, sure.
because of, we won't get
A
into the
lot. It's a lot of
politics.
no. It's a lot of small businesses that are having issues right
It's
now, and
terrible.
it's not fun by any means.
No, no,
So, but
no, it's
otherwise,
not.
it is what it is. But I have to
Yes.
say, here in the house, last night was really
Oh no.
active. I think everybody's getting excited for Thanksgiving.
For
So,
oh.
no, there's because the original family here did have they did have a lot of family just literally across the river.
Yeah,
So I imagine that there were a lot of festivities
that's
taking
right.
place, and we don't follow the rules here in Arizona. Zach,
We
man.
know. We're well aware. You didn't even have to
Mhm.
tell us that. We get news here as well, and I know that you have news stories that come out of Canada because Joe tells us that we're not hearing, and vice versa. So it's
Mhm.
it's it's a political pickle, and nobody wants to go there, especially not us, because that's not our thing.
Wayne, I'm moving to Arizona. Will
Yeah,
you have
right.
fun with that?
You have fun with that because I've seen
I will
spiders
hold
in
down the
Arizona
fort
that are
right
the
here.
same size as friggin' Australia spiders, Wayne. So have fun. Help.
There
Yeah.
we go, right there.
You'll be
He's
screaming,
okay
help.
with the spiders. He just picks them up and
They're
takes them
not,
out.
you
And
can't pick these up. You need a
oh, I
forklift.
know. I've
Don't
seen
you
my
see the
daughter
ones that
lived in
crawl?
Australia.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Arizona. Have you seen some of the stuff that crawls up their walls?
No, why
Oh,
would I want to go and do that? I don't want to go look at
oh,
anything that could
no.
potentially
Snakes,
bite me. No,
spiders. I'm sorry. I
no.
know it's beautiful
Scorpions and
there.
snakes. Exactly. I don't think I'm okay.
I think I would be traveling that city with a state with a bubble. And
I'm saying
how do you
cactus.
have
That's all I
dogs?
have to
How
say.
do you have dogs
And
when you
people from
live out
Arizona.
there?
Ooh, Zachman and Michael. Shh.
Okay.
Zachman's from Arizona.
Well, he lives there. He's not
He lives there.
from
Yeah.
there. Are you, Zach? Are you from Arizona? Or yeah, let us know. Wayne's joining you,
We
by the
have
way.
8 different chats that are coming in from everywhere. Tarantulas are okay. Scorpions are open game for squishing. Oh, that would just crunch and be awful. That's so silly.
Are scorpions like your, I don't know, your like cockroaches there? Is it that common? That's what I'm curious, because there's some places that, like hot places, that you will see a lot of one type of insect. I don't know. I just it's not for me.
I'm
I
good.
would want to be in a spa,
I'm
and
good.
I wonder if you can hire those people that just keep that stuff away from you.
Yeah.
Originally from Pennsylvania. I thought so.
Scorpions
I
here.
thought, oh gosh, Dave.
Yeah, we're good without scorpions.
We're
Be
okay.
adventurous. Don't be
Hi,
scared. Hey,
Eric.
Eric.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
not that adventurous.
Do you remember Eric, Michelle? You met him our first night. My BFF. I miss you. How come you get to see my face and I don't get to see yours? Love you. My BFF Eric. He came to your house that night.
I do. Why is
Yeah.
he?
I
Okay,
guess he
there
has
it
the
is.
night off. You have the night off because
Oh,
you're
that's
usually working,
nice.
Eric. But thank
Yes, I
you.
remember, of course.
Yeah.
They're very mystical. What's mystical? A scorpion or a cockroach? They're giant cockroaches, Michael said.
Yeah.
Our cockroaches are snowbirds. Oh, wow. Oh, as Trump would say, snow
Crazy.
Mexicans. Dying,
Yeah.
honestly.
I like the pictures of Arizona, and I always say, oh, if I went there, I would hike and I would do all this stuff because I love hiking. But
Right.
in reality, unless I had somebody smacking things around me, I don't
No.
think I would do it. I don't think I get past the pool in those spas, and I probably spend a lot of time indoors. I mean, I went to Florida, and those little gecko, whatever, those things
Oh, we
drove
had
me
those in France too.
crazy.
I
Oh,
tried to pick them up.
they
I
have them
tried
in
to pick them
Italy,
up.
but
They
they
weren't
come out at
having
night.
it. They weren't
Okay.
agreeing with me at all.
No, they have them in Italy as well. Yes,
Yeah, they're
last
cute,
night off
though.
before the Christmas rush at work. Good for you.
I had
He's
to
with
take a bunch of pictures. There's just like little green gecko guys just like It reminded me of the commercial. I was trying to catch one.
Yeah.
I'm at Rennes
Yeah.
Chateau,
Yeah.
running along the top of the freaking tower, trying to
Oh,
catch a little
in
freaking green
Italy, they
guy.
come out at night and you see them climbing the walls, like, but
Oh,
in Florida, I was
yeah.
constantly
Too close
taking
for
them out
comfort
of the
there.
room, and I was close to
Right,
the exit, so I would
right.
release them outside. Spa and pizza. That's
So,
right, Michael. Pizza and spa. My two best friends are here. I love it.
we are
But
we are actually just like waiting for the guest. I don't know if she's gonna pop in or not. I don't know if she
well,
realized when she booked it was actually Thanksgiving.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah. So
yeah,
it would
I'm
be a shame because she really has a great story to tell. I find it really interesting how it kind of goes back to a little bit like in our field, how children will see things or have experiences, and sometimes parents just don't believe them. And the children sort of sit there and they're vulnerable. They don't know where to turn. Things just sort of get worse. So I don't know. It's sort of that sort of a situation. I don't want to give the whole story away because if she does,
yeah,
show
we
up, I
want
want
her
her
to
to.
tell it if she does
Yeah.
come through. And if something does come up, we'll just reschedule her because I really
No,
think that
some
her
notice would have
story is
been nice.
extremely valuable. Thank God we can talk. But
Yeah.
I believe her story is extremely valuable and can
Every
help
story is
so many
valuable.
people.
Every story
Yeah,
is valuable.
every story is valuable, but you know, I this is her first time, right? Telling it.
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
All I know is that it's some places are just more active than others, and she's in Florida, and we know from talking to Joe that Florida is just a crazy hotbed of
Well,
activity.
yeah.
Even Dolly coming in from Florida. What the heck is that? Is the house coming down? Can you hear that? That loud.
No, my chair made a noise, but I don't know what's happening at your house.
No, it's like ridiculous. I don't know if a plane's just coming over the house. It's like, what
Oh,
is that?
no, I didn't hear it.
I don't know. It was insanely loud.
Well, you got great noise canceling whatever cuz I didn't hear it, but I don't know if it came through
The
because
walls are
at the
3 feet
same
freaking thick. If I'm hearing it, it's
yeah,
loud.
but at the
So,
same time that you heard that my chair cracked across.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
I don't even know, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, some places are more
I
active than
may have
others.
passed gas. Wes, I wouldn't have read that out loud if I had finished the sentence before I said it out loud.
Oh, thanks there, Wes.
God.
That's nice.
God. It's like
I
guys'
love it
night
when our
here.
friends just come in
Where's
to
our
chat.
where's our girls?
That's like, all right.
All the
Um,
besties are in the house.
wow. But speaking of like, hey
Yeah,
Tamara, like
Tamara. Thank you.
really, crazy active places. I was just making mention. I think I mentioned this to I mentioned this to Wayne also when I was driving my daughter home a few nights ago. I look up and there's this craft and it's not moving.
Yes.
So logical me says open the window and maybe it's a helicopter. Maybe it's a drone. Maybe there's something. It's
That's a
completely
researcher
silent,
brain.
blue light and red light, and
Yeah.
it's not moving. And it's sort of like I thought maybe it was a drone because it seemed to be this big square cube thing. And it was completely silent. So I've seen a few UFOs. So I'm thinking, could be. And my daughter's looking at going, right? Right? Is it something? I'm thinking, I think it's something. So, the next day I'm in town and I purposely took the same route to see if there's this like a big 5G tower or something there that's lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And there was nothing there at all. And it's not like there was a trees, there's no buildings. It's kind of just like suspended there. And where it was would have been over the lake, of course, like Ontario, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, dang.
It's amazing that you witnessed it together. I love that.
I like it as well.
Yeah.
She's, I get a little bit worried that she may be a little bit skittish with things like that, because
Well,
it's like we've had experiences like that. you
I
know,
don't blame
at the
her.
other house, and she's seen all kinds of different things. She's really gifted, so she does see things she doesn't necessarily want anything to do with. So we were sort of just like, okay, that's
Yeah.
something, you
Well,
know. So
not
I was sort of like, yeah,
should have
I
checked like some hotline and see if there was other sightings, if anyone else had the sightings.
um yeah. Well, nobody came forward. Let's put
I
it that
wonder
way.
if there's
So
like there has to be a there has to be a page or a site somewhere in the dark web where people are just conversing about their sightings and
I'm sure
right?
anywhere,
Where you can just like, "Hey, I saw this tonight," and have it out there like a
but
Reddit, but
but
for
they do have
UFOs.
it. Yeah, they.
Okay,
I'm
I
sure
just
they
don't
do
we need
have
to
it.
find out
Like,
how to find it.
oh yeah, and you can see all kinds of Facebook pages with that. I'm sure,
Yeah,
you
but
know. But
that's controlled.
I
Like, I
have just
wanna
never
see
seen
something
one like
else.
that before.
Oh, yeah, Eric said tons of drones in my area and especially near the airport. Well,
Oh
yeah,
sure,
because you're at the airport, Mount Hope. So, yeah,
yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
So I thought that was sort of interesting anyway, because of the fact that the two of us saw it together. There are times that Wayne will
Yeah.
see stuff, and I'm just like,
Why not
sometimes
me?
together,
I've
sometimes.
never seen anything,
He has a
so,
really good eye, though. He'll see something off in the distance, like,
yeah.
what? And my face is always like this, right? I'm just like, did you see that? What? Did I miss
What?
something again? Just
Somebody
like,
needs to hide
what?
her phone. Somebody needs to hide her phone.
We're driving in the passenger seat. My phone never stops. I'm like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
looking at it. And he goes, oh, did you see that right there? I'm like, no. Why do you
Yeah.
tell me when you know I'm not even looking? This annoys me because I missed out on it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
It's I don't see anything, so I don't know.
that's it. I love to meet the pilot who was operating the jet that he saw being chased by two UFOs 2009. What was that like?
I wonder, can we find that in the news? Maybe we can interview him.
That would be interesting. And Tamara, I think there's a lot more sightings. Oh yeah, Burlington, right? It was in
Uh,
Burlington, Tamara, right where you live, like where I lived.
yeah. Yeah,
So
it's
well,
oh,
it's
is
right.
Tamara in Burlington?
Yeah,
Oh,
right on the
wow.
lake. Like this was like right at Lakeshore in between Guelph Line and Brand Street, right in and around there. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like stuff are like
Oh, we
pretty.
gotta meet at like Starbucks, Tamara.
Honestly, I am just
Maple
gonna
View.
change this. Like, can I
Yeah.
change this banner? I'm gonna change the banner.
At this point, yes, I think there was some miscommunication, or maybe perhaps maybe she doesn't have internet right now. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't radio Q&A. Let's just do a Q&A. I'll change it again if it
Yeah.
works out.
Yeah. Well, we always love talking to you guys.
Well, we do, and
Oh, and we
realistically,
have
if
stuff.
okay,
We have
show. There we
stuff.
go. We'll change it if
We
she comes
have
back on.
stuff.
Yeah, there we go.
We
All
have
right.
stuff to talk about.
We have lots of stuff to
We've
talk
had a
about.
crazy butthead week. Like, um,
We have there's a lot that we were going to say for the next Q&A, but there's always lots of stuff to talk about. People are
there
always sending
is.
in questions and things like that. You know, I was just trying to keep a little bit with the theme in case she came in, but
Oh,
yeah, no, I don't know. It doesn't matter. At this point, I don't think it's going to
you have a
happen.
better shot at Black Friday. Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yes, yes, yes. But let's just definitely
okay,
talk
you
about
lead.
yeah, we'll have to change that on Facebook maybe, Q&A. But no, you know what? There's we've actually come across a few situations with people who've been requesting our help.
Mm.
And I bet you there's probably been about 3 or 4 of them in the last couple of weeks that we left us sort of going like what the hell? Like, what did you just say to me?
Yeah,
You did what?
definitely.
So, you know, let's just tackle Ouija boards and spirit communication for now, for a minute. Um, I am I am of the mind that an object is an object. Let's take the old fancy old Ouija board. A lot of people use them, no issues at all. There are a lot of gifted people who use them. I always say that if you know what you're doing, you know, you're a really gifted individual. Hey, Christine. And, you know, you may never have a problem with it because you may actually pick up on what's coming in. There's just some people who do not pick up on what's coming in and they're easily fooled. And it
Yeah.
becomes very addictive. And this is the part I want to, I'm not going to get into the whole schematics, of any, no, exactly, Tamara. Believe me, I absolutely know. I've done experiment with many methods. And again, know what's coming in. But it becomes very, very addictive. And people have difficulty stopping. And then when you say, okay, we have to try to, change your mindset, you clear the place or the place is good, it's feeling calm. Then it's like there's this confidence, like, okay, I'm just going to do it different this time.
Yeah.
No, through the years, I have seen this over and over and over. And people feel they're trying to explain to me, you know what, you just don't understand the urge. I'm like, I absolutely understand the urge. I completely get it when you're having an experience and things are moving and they're answering your questions, of course. But people don't realize that a lot of times it's you moving it. It could be like psychokinesis. It could be the fact that the entity you're dealing with knows exactly what you're thinking, right? They know what you're thinking. So they're going to respond the way you want them to respond. You really have more control over the way this goes than you realize. And again, people just don't understand that. I've done experiments with people who've said to me, I can control this. I'm like, okay, well, show me. All right. And,
I've yet to find one.
uh, and they'll start asking questions. And I'm just like, oh no, let me ask the questions because I know what I'm thinking. So I know what the answer is going to be.
Yep.
Right. So I'll just ask a question. And of course, they're giving me exactly verbatim what is in my head. Verbatim.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, you really can manipulate a lot of this. However, there are situations where things do come in. You do hit on something that's really malevolent. And they bring friends, just so you know, they usually will bring friends. So, of course, they're going to be, yes, I'm just a spirit. I'm just this little
That's
child
me.
okay, I'm just this little child that wants to come and play. They'll usually go, for the weak, for the vulnerable, because they're easier to manipulate. So, oh yeah, okay, good. We'll do that one.
Yeah, I can't. I'm having trouble changing it
No,
because
that's
the
okay.
link is already on. But I did
Yeah,
change it
I'll just
in
send it to
Facebook
JoJo. Okay,
just so
let me
you
do
have it for
okay, I'm
the
just sending
other
it
one
to
because it
Joe. Yeah.
takes 2 seconds to change it.
Excellent. So,
No.
yeah. So,
Ouch.
we've done a few of these over the course of the last few months, and I usually always take a back seat. Like, I will not prioritize people who are constantly making invitations and because you can't fix it. When I say, okay, you're clear, I want the board, you know, well,
And you don't even need the board to
you
continue.
don't need the board.
And they know that. They know that. People that are communicating on a
Mm,
regular basis know they don't need that board.
you really don't. But somehow they still feel very attached to it, and it's just like helping clear places that are under investigation and you clear them and
It's
they're
so
still open for
frustrating.
investigation. I'm like,
Yeah. It's
should you,
frustrating.
once you do a clearing, not go back to investigate it? Because aren't you kind of like opening up a door? I don't know. All my paranormal peeps out there,
Yeah.
just,
It's like,
chime in, come on a chat, chime in. You
yep.
know, is it not like, keeping your foot in the door? We're going to clear the place, but I'm going to investigate it
Yeah.
again.
We close that portal and then you open another one.
Ah,
Thank you. and
So
it's not just about your safety. If your safety doesn't matter to you, think about us because we're going in there for you.
I know.
And it's a risk every time we're going in, and I think people aren't aware of that. And we do this work, we love this work, we want to help, it's what we want to do, but it is a risk to us as well and to our families. So it's really important that you I don't know, I think if you don't have any experience and you can't tell what something is, even I have trouble seeing what's coming,
Hmm.
but eventually I do.
It happens,
Yeah.
I think for as long as I can remember. I mean, I was one of those naughty teens who did the Ouija board, but I actually knew even then what was coming in,
That was different though. You were gifted. You're talking about investigators and going into places, and
Mm,
it's like
well,
like a bonfire, right?
yeah, and I mean, and I hate to like beat the horse till it's really dead, but
But we're doing it.
over and over, but only because
There's a reason.
it keeps happening.
That's
So
right.
it keeps
That's right.
happening. Like we help a lot of people, and for years I've always helped out friends and colleagues of mine, and it's no different now.
No.
But it kind of gets to the point where it's like, okay, but you keep jumping into the fire. This, especially when this location now is done, it's clear,
Yeah.
so there shouldn't be anything when you go there, or they run into trouble, but they don't want to tell you where they've been because they don't want you to clear it.
Well, yeah.
So okay, wait a minute. Followed you back. We cleared you. Do you think something else isn't going to be there when you return? Like there's always more than one for the
Yeah.
most part.
And it happens to the best of them. It's not people who are just starting out. It happens to the best of
Mm,
them in this field. But they're aware and know, because of their experience, they know how
mm,
to close off a location, how to separate themselves. These are things that, again, beating a dead horse, you don't see on those paranormal shows that you
mm.
watch and then go out and investigate, think you know what you're doing because you watched it on television.
Right,
You're not
right.
seeing the before and after.
You don't, and you
You
don't
used
see.
to a long time ago, but not anymore.
Well, and what do you do, with people who are living in the house, and then you next thing you know, you've got them, doing your work for you, you
Oh
know.
my
I
gosh.
always tell people, if you're in a really bad way, the last thing you want to do is take a bunch of pictures or video or never record. I mean, I have done horrific cases through the years where people have started doing voice recordings, and one woman really thought she was communicating with her deceased husband, and things started getting really, really amped up and very aggressive. And she had me listen to a recording one time on her answering machine, and it was like growly and just foul. She goes, I need to know if that's my husband. I don't know. How did your husband feel about you?
Wow,
Because this
yeah.
this
Wow.
this is rather aggressive and snarly. So, did you guys leave on bad terms? Like, what was it? She was like, no. She goes, obviously there's a concern, but it came down to that addiction thing. She could not stop doing the EVPs. She could not stop communicating, and things
Yeah,
got
yeah,
worse
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
worse. Her health started suffering. She had a tenant in the basement. He was really in a bad way. Um, it, you know,
That's terrible.
it was. And every time I'd go to the house, she'd hand me a picture of him and said, just read him. And I'm just like, I am not going to encourage it. I'm here to give you a reading, but
Yeah.
I would give her messages, but I said, this is the very last time. This was after 3 times.
It's hard.
And it was hard. And I felt for her. And it came down to what we've talked about before, that the grieving process itself can, for some people, open doors because they so desperately want a
Want them.
message from the person that they love, that they'll take anything that comes in, even if it's out of character for the loved one that they've lost.
Yeah, absolutely. 1000%. I
Right.
understand that. It's
Right.
funny because I'm the total opposite,
Right.
where you've asked me, "Are you sure it's your dad?" I'm like,
I know
because
I have to ask. It's like,
because
what are you
the
doing?
things he does, right?
Right.
And
Right.
it's so funny because I'm not looking for that because I'm working this and I see what I see. I know there's a better place. I know it. And I know he's moved on to it with,
Mhm.
our loved ones that have passed. I know it. Um, it's funny because he will do anything to get my attention because I'm not catching it right away. You would think I catch things right away, but I don't. When you're looking for it, any little thing you'll take with excitement, and
Mhm.
that just feeds it, right?
That does. It can. I think a lot of it is just that people want it so desperately. And believe me, there's
Yeah.
always something willing to give it to you. And I think it's whether or not you acknowledge or accept
Yeah.
it. You know,
I I understand why they want that. I
well,
understand that a lot. Yeah.
absolutely,
Sorry,
absolutely.
allergies.
And it does open doors. Like this woman, it was a year of working through this with her, where things just got worse and worse. And I saw it happen with another family who lost a daughter, in a
Oh,
drowning accident. She was only, I think, 13 at the time.
oh my
And,
gosh.
the house was left completely like nothing had changed. And I understand that too. It's your child. I cannot even imagine losing a child. The car, they locked it up, sealed it up because of her smell. They did not, they never used it again. And it sat there, and the
Yeah.
first time she, that she ever saw me, she came over and she said, I need to speak with you. I was at another haunted house. I went, okay, no problem. I said, I'll come and see you like right after I'm done. I was doing a magazine interview at this other location. And when I went there, she just said, well, I need to make sure that those spirits aren't bothering mine. And I'm like, all right, let's go with that. I didn't know the story at that point. I didn't know what had happened. I was just sort
Mhm.
of like, okay, you have a haunted house and you don't want the mixing. What is it exactly? Once
Yeah.
I found out, I realized I was like, oh, wow. Okay. And this little girl hadn't crossed at that point.
Oh,
Like I crossed her that day, but I said,
yeah.
I said, what happens if you when you go, if she's not crossed and she kind of gets stuck, there'll always be someone to take care of her. I have other children. I'm like,
Oh, but this
I
is eternity we're talking about.
I know.
And yeah, that's a
This is what, hey Bradley, this is where it comes to working with people's mindsets. Like I worked with them for like a few months just to explain to them, like, she can come back just because she goes over and she's ascended. She can come back and forth as much as she wants, as much
yeah.
as you need her to, but you don't hold back her journey because of it's selfish. And people don't always see it because they just miss somebody so darn
That
much.
and we don't understand. I mean, even as a
Oh,
medium, I didn't understand that I was holding back one spirit. You don't
yes,
understand until you take a really good look, especially when you're used to having them there all the
right.
time. You don't
Mm.
think anything of it.
No,
But
it's
with
true.
with experience like you have and the understanding and the communication, you understand that they're stuck.
Well,
There's a
you do.
difference.
You do. And I think it's just working through the grieving process with people. Hey, Sherry, and I agree. Exactly. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is it right here
Sherry
too.
knows her stuff.
Yeah. Negative
Hi,
entities
Sherry.
take advantage of the
Yeah.
loss. They absolutely do.
Yeah.
Again, there have been so many locations that I've done.
Yeah.
Um, and one in specific, I became very close to the spirit family that was there. I mean, they used to come to my house. They would give me messages if there's things that they needed. And the husband, who was, I guess, the representative, he was the man of the house, right? And he was the one who would come forward most of the time. And I got unbelievable voice recordings in that house, um, as the story unfolded. And there were so many malevolent entities in there that the family, I mean, I had recordings of the children saying, run, run, he's coming, run. hide. Like I was just sort of like,
Yep,
okay,
you need proof. There you go.
well, because a lot of these malevolent entities were hiding in the background at first. So this is something
Yeah.
else where some researchers sort of fall into. They don't realize that sometimes, and I have filmed at places like this. You know, we're going in and we're assuming that we're dealing with these very benevolent human spirits, and then all of a sudden you walk right into a real poop show, so to speak, and you realize this is not at all what it seems to be.
One of these things doesn't belong.
Exactly. So the whole schematics changes. You know, we're filming at the time, and I'm just like,
Mm.
this is going to go really badly because, you know, nobody here seems to be on the same page. And it turned out the family was hiding the fact that there was malevolent entities in the home. So we had to deal with that also. So yeah, Bradley, that's good because it's as clear as it can be without everything we needed. So that's all I can say. You know, da, da, da.
Fingers crossed. I'm not back till Tuesday.
Right. Yeah, we're busy, man. But
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it's being an investigator is really difficult. Being a good investigator is really difficult. There's a lot of people out there who I always say go be the weekend warrior. You know, like I used to love investigating old asylums and hospitals, and you know, I'd be invited to do old haunted theaters and just old mansions, and
They're
oh my,
loaded.
oh,
Yeah.
beautiful places.
Yeah.
But when I made the decision to start working with people, um, that you have to change your way of thinking a little bit. You know, if you can balance it, it's great. Like Bradley's really good at it. He can balance it, no problem. I can balance it. I've done both. But
I
some
don't do
people,
investigations, so I don't know.
I don't anymore because I
No.
just don't have the time. I have to balance my schedule, and you know, I'm seasoned enough to know exactly what I'm looking for. So when somebody messages me, I know the questions to ask, I know the proper protocol, and I follow those guidelines. And 9 times out of 10, 99.9% of the time, let's move that up a bit. I'm usually correct on what I'm thinking at the time that I'm approached.
Yeah.
So the last thing I'm going to go in there and start poking the bear.
Oh my
Poke the
gosh.
bear and make invitations and invite all, you know, this communication, then go home and leave a family in a real, you know, in a real pickle
That's
because now they've got to deal with something that's like, what do you mean you don't want to talk to me right now? You spent
yeah.
the last 3 hours wanting to talk to me. Now you don't want to talk to me. That's too bad. That's just not a thing, right?
No.
So then what do you do?
Thank God there's people like you out there.
Well, thank God there's a lot of people like me out there. And then,
Yeah.
but equally, there's just not enough, I think, because people don't want to give up that location.
The
You
mean medium.
know?
Judy McInnes, I guess you could call me the mean medium because I set so many rules when communicating with spirit. I do not let them take advantage of me, just like I do not let the living take advantage of me. I trust myself.
That's
Good for you.
that is
Good
perfect.
for you.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
And Bradley says, "Go ahead, Amelia."
I like the haunt, but I like the history more. Seeing
Right.
old architecture. I know,
I'm
right?
saying,
That's the most beautiful part is I love old architecture.
oh,
It's in
I,
my
I,
blood, so to
I,
speak.
I travel wherever I travel. It's the first thing. It's the first thing I do. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love to stay in haunted places, and historic haunted places to me are like the best. But you see, I'm also not weird with going into a location and, you know, I want to see the spirits get help. It's very difficult for me when a researcher approaches me and says, you know, I'm down for helping anybody. I always have, you know, but when you're like, some people just aren't good in some places, like those places just have it out for them or something. So you're saying,
Mhm.
I really don't think you should go back to that place. Like there's just some angst there, you know, and they're just like, no. Like they keep going back. They won't tell you where they're going back. And
Don't
what?
answer him. Make him answer you. Is he going by himself? Because he's done this, and I'm going to put you over my knee, Eric Panacucci. Because I saw those videos and the pictures that you posted on Facebook going, oh, look, I'm checking this place out. And I'm like, are you alone? Yeah. I'm sorry. Did we not spend the same evening with Michelle? You're going to get into a lot of trouble. Eric's my best friend. So, like just, I'm going to kill him.
She's pointing at me.
He's my male BFF. Yes.
Yeah. No, not going alone.
Not going alone. Okay.
Okay.
I better be part
This
of that.
is good. No, I think common sense, people. It's not hard. It's common sense.
No, he's in the best places because he wants to know about our area, like our region between here and Niagara. Well,
yes,
all of it.
That's always that is the intention. So,
all of it, Eric. All of it is haunted from here to Niagara. It's all
there's
haunted.
a lot. I know.
Yeah.
There really is a lot. People don't realize it doesn't have to be, an advertised place. You'll find it.
No.
Some of those hidden little gems are the ones that you don't hear about.
Yeah. But even if he wanted to do the places that are open to the public, like Dundurn and Whitehorn is
Whitehorn
is seriously
awesome.
haunted.
Yeah.
And so is
if
the
I have
old
to
McMaster.
Travel, I will.
Yeah. And so is the old McMaster University. And then Eric, if you want to go to when the spring comes and things open up, we'll go together. Oh,
the
Christ.
Hospital is at the back.
Yeah. No kidding.
I know. See, I'm enabling him.
Yeah, you are. Now I gotta GPS his damn phone. But Eric, even Niagara on the Lake,
it's the most haunted town in Canada.
Yeah, Eric goes to Niagara a lot. He loves that drive. So Niagara on the Lake is really haunted. Even just walking through the small streets and the shops, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot. Like I know I picked it up.
Go to the forts. Fort George. You have Fort Niagara over the border. You have Fort Erie. You have Fort Mississauga. You have a bunch of forts right there, all haunted. Been to all of them. My God,
every single one of them.
It's true. Yeah. Go to the Fort Henry in Kingston if you want to take a drive.
Eric, your next door neighbor, the Warplane Heritage Museum is haunted.
Hold on.
At work. That's next door to work.
Hello, Christine. We're living in a multi-dimensional bowl of beans. Yes, it is fantastic.
Yeah,
it is. It's true. It is fantastic.
Tamara has a suggestion.
There we go. Ruth
Haven.
Absolutely.
Do you want to go with Eric?
There we go. I say use the buddy system. Usually works out a lot better.
Tamara knows your stuff, Eric.
But my God. I know. But I mean, always be prepared. Like get yourselves familiar with doing a really good grounding technique, because even spirits can attach, and not necessarily in a malevolent way. I remember doing a ghost tour, and I was contacted by this woman, and she says, like, first off, okay, in all fairness, she's sitting there at the location and she's feeling the energy of this spirit girl. And she's like this going, oh my God, I feel it. Oh, I'm going, I think you should do that. Don't listen to me. What do I know?
It's like a lightning rod.
Right. The next day I get a phone call. Does the name so-and-so mean anything to you? I'm like, maybe. I told you not to be doing all of this and this and this. And
yeah, that's not a good idea.
I had to go get her spirit back. Bring her back to the door. But she wasn't grounded, the spirit. Like, she was fully ascended.
Yeah.
I said, you don't need to worry. She's not stuck. Like, there's obviously something about you that she's a young girl, like maybe 10, 11, so there's something about you that she likes, about your energy, and all of this I'm sure did not help, but she's not a stuck spirit, so you really don't have any concerns. But she wasn't having it. It was just like, no, come and get her. It's like, what do you mean come and get her? Like,
I've been there, done that. So
she made me have to be there. Just, I was like, all right, we can do that. But, grounding never hurts, because it improves your chances to have less attachments, if you are going to.
Teflon.
It's something.
Yeah.
It's
It's
something.
like Teflon. Worked for Gotti.
There we go. So, but
Yeah.
again, when you're getting into like really malevolent things and things are following you back and they're turning your life upside down. I mean, I have worked with a family who the place was ridiculously haunted. This family went through hell and back. All the researchers that went in there, okay, because they brought me in, had horrific experiences. They all got followed home. They all had issues. And in the end, they looked at her and go, no, we think you're on medication and this and this and this, and there's nothing going on here. I'm like, well, you brought me in and I can assure you there was damn well something there. And it took over a year to finally get it resolved. So you're not exactly giving me credit for doing what I do, and I've been doing it a lot longer, or you just you just didn't do your job right.
No.
Eric,
all of
show
Italy
came up, and she was asked to do a TV show for them. I was
wow.
like,
Wow.
Well, I just happened to be on that show. Guess what? This is not a case that will get covered. I promise you. It's like, wow.
Always wanting stuff for the wrong reasons. Eric's asking for places in Italy. Any place in Italy is
come
haunted.
on, the island. The island.
Well, he can't get to Peroveglia because it's not open to the public.
Hire
You'll go to jail
boat?
if they find you. No, no one will rent
listen to me.
a boat to you for
no,
you.
They won't.
No,
because
it's prison time if they get caught. They actually have
so
guards on
new.
the fort. No, it's prison time. Yeah,
but
because
that's
they're
new.
afraid
What
of.
I'm saying is that's only in the last maybe couple of years since it sold to new owners, I think.
Yeah,
because it went up for sale a while ago.
They're worried about the disease because of all the ash from the
sure
Poveglia. You can Google that one, Eric. My mother used to say, send them to Poveglia if somebody bothered me, like send them to hell. But she would say in Italian, mandarli a Poveglia.
You could investigate it. Shows were investigating there.
Yeah, but people were getting sick.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So they're afraid of the disease and they're afraid of them bringing it back into their water. So they cut it off. But Eric, anywhere in Italy, you're probably walking through spirits. It's especially Tuscany. Positano is a very, very old area. You're talking about, everywhere where there's docks. Positano is the Amalfi Coast. So you're going to have a lot. Toscana, I would stick to the center. I wouldn't go outwards. You'll find some stuff outwards, but you'll find more in the center where the city and the action is going on in the Trentale. But Centro di Toscana. I can't remember what it's called. There's a town with an L. I'll figure it out. But any of those old buildings. I mean, I love Boston because of all the spirit action that's there. But all these places that have these old architecture, all this history and war, you're going to find something. There's always something.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
I think it's Livorno, Eric. I think so.
Yeah, okay.
But it's all there.
Anywhere you go. I've been to so many different places throughout the world, and I have yet to go someplace where there has not been a lot of activity. Mind you, I purposely stay in places that are known to be haunted or active. In some places it doesn't matter where you stay. You're going to have an experience, or you're going to feel the energy there. Any place with a lot of history, honestly, it's good.
My grandfather's house belonged to my grandmother's family, and that was built in the late 1700s. So those buildings are so damn haunted. It's not funny. Right. There's been so many families in that bloodline, in and out, sickness, death. I mean, my uncle.
Back in the day, people used to die at home half the time.
They died at home, and they were also the wake was also at home.
Exactly, everything.
They still do that in some places in Italy, but because I know my grandfather's was like that, but
Hmm.
it's also like my uncle was a prisoner of war. The
Right.
Nazis took him prisoner for 3 years. You're talking about all that residual stuff that comes back
That's
and
hard. It
stays
hangs
there.
there. If you don't
Yeah,
cleanse it, which most people, there's no reason to have any idea how to do that. But,
yeah.
but here's some fun facts about home funerals. Do you know that the
Fun facts and
square grand
funerals.
pianos, right?
Yes.
Square flat grand pianos
What you
were
have.
designed, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. They were designed to put coffins on them. So
Oh,
you could play and they would hope that the music and the vibration would wake the
isn't
dead.
that beautiful?
Yeah, that's good. And that's what the
Oh,
wake
wow.
was, the smelling good food, music.
Yep.
Because back then there were a lot of people that were buried alive, literally, hence the term saved by the bell
Yes.
and then the midnight shift or the
I love
graveyard
that
shift,
story.
right? The graveyard
Yeah.
shift. They would bury you and then they would put a little bell on and it would come up. Well, the bell would go off if somebody woke up, but if there was nobody there to hear it, then it wouldn't matter. So the guy on the
No.
graveyard shift would be there to hear and start.
Because they would find grave robbers
That's
would
right.
open up
They're the ones who
the
found it.
graves and they would find people's fingernails on the
Scratch it.
inside
That's right.
scratching and broken and taken off trying to get out and
Oh,
they died in the coffin.
exactly.
That
It's very
doesn't happen
sad.
now because you get embalmed. So when the needle goes in, that's it. Your blood comes out, the embalming goes in, you're pretty much
But
dead.
now
But
they usually know, like back then, they just didn't know enough to check, the vitals.
no,
They
they
didn't
didn't have
have the
anything.
equipment to do that like they do now.
That's
But
that.
it's like Wayne always said, because he went on a tour and they showed him at this old cemetery in Nova Scotia and they showed them in the book, it says Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
So,
It's big in
and then that
Boston
woman
too.
died again, like she died a few years later, and she's in the book again. And it's like he says, it goes, how functional would you be in life to go through? Well, you're very
I would
functional human
imagine
beings that now.
not, but I mean, back
Yeah.
then that was common,
That would
so it
mess you
wasn't
up. You put
unheard
that in
of.
the ground.
I know it was
It's
not, but
just
that's why
like,
people
get
have
in
a
the
I think
ground.
that's where fear of death comes from. Fear of being
Sure, that
alive
and many
and
things.
presumed
Because
dead.
the fear of God is enough to make you fear death back in the day. Now
Yes.
I think religion has let up a little bit. So
Yeah.
it's more of a loving experience. But back in the
Yeah.
day, oh my gosh, people were terrified to go. I think that's why we had more
Absolutely.
grounded spirits back then also, because it's like they would really drive those commandments home when you broke one of those commandments,
I think I
you know
broke quite a few, but
then you
yeah.
just think to yourself, oh my God, I coveted my neighbor's wife. I think I'll take my
Why do you think
chances
I
and
keep
stay here.
asking everybody who disses the commandments and says, "Oh, that didn't really happen?" I'm like, "Really? Is it really?" Because I've broken a few on that list, so I'm just a little curious.
Well,
Like
seriously
Catholic
though,
guilt, right?
people, old mindsets, they're very, you feared the repercussions of God's wrath sort of thing. And a lot
Yeah,
of people stayed behind because it's like, I'm not going down there. I'm going to
yeah.
hell for all of this. So I'm going to stay right here. And they get stuck, and then the old mindset of if you take your own life, only God has the right to take your life, not you. So with that being said, how many suicides have stayed behind because the mindset of the believing that they're going to hell if
Quite a
because they
number.
took their own life. Let me tell you something. You just have to think, how low do you have to be to consider taking your own life, let alone taking your own life? And then you have the guilt of, a lot of people will often have that last minute, oh no,
Oh, every
so
single
they're
time.
aware of it. And then
Yeah,
it's like, okay, then my family or the guilt of who's going to find me and what's it going to do to them. It is mindset that keeps them back here. It is guilt. It is fear. It's a lot of things. If they were really depressed, whatever it is that put them in the mind that they had felt they had to do this, that doesn't go away because the body stops existing. The
no.
body stops, it's gone, it's dead. It's like, I don't know, but if my car breaks down tomorrow, I'm going out and get another car. Or your essence, you're still going to find a way to get around.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Every
change.
no, every spirit that we have ever assisted, who has taken their own life and every single one of them has said to me when we've given a message to the family, and
Mhm.
has said to me,
Mm.
I wish I didn't when I let go, whether they're jumping off a bridge. Now they're taking a risk that they could end up paraplegic at the end of
Yeah,
this or dead. You really don't know. You have a 50-50 shot of one happening
that's
over
true.
the other.
Yeah,
And, you know, anyways, they said, as soon as I let go, I realized this isn't the way to go.
right.
And always get stuck, especially if they were Christian background. Always stuck. And I always say, when people ask me who've had children that have committed suicide, and they'll ask me because of their upbringing is Roman Catholic like mine was, and I always say to them, they'll ask me, do you think God will let them in? I'm like, God forgives murderers. It's not up to a priest to forgive, it's up to God to forgive if you're following that faith. I'm just saying it's in the Bible that he forgives all. So if you follow that, this fear that you have inside of you is created by people here on earth. It's not created by, if you're following scripture. I
Mhm,
don't. I'm just saying, if you do, God forgives
mhm,
everything and loves all his children. That's what it says.
mhm,
So, it's not fair to have that burden placed on people, but that's another show. That's all about religion.
mhm. No, it's
Um,
it's it's true. I think it just comes down to people feeling, that depression, that guilt. It's
Absolutely.
just
It's
sad what
hardest for those left behind.
man-made religion for the most part is man-made. It
And
is
it came
man-made.
thousands of years
It's
after
an
Christ. Let's just say
organization,
that.
it's an institution, and it works for a lot of people, absolutely, and it doesn't work for other people. It is what it is. There are many different viewpoints on it, but with taking that into account, there are people who
Excuse
take it
me.
very literal,
Yeah.
and they end up, in a lot of trouble. And spirits, back then they were really
So
hardcore,
sad.
and spirits got, because I often get asked questions like, how come there was more spirits then than there are now? And not that they're not now, but I think it's because it was so hardcore and instilled into us. Times are very hard.
Yeah,
Life
a
was
lot of
very
trauma.
hard. You went through so much, the wars, the depressions, like there's just so much. But now you have knowledge, you have the
Yeah.
internet. Even religion has, in some religions, have eased up, and they explain things a little bit more, you know.
Yeah.
So for those who you believe in God, just know that your God is all loving, and that believes in forgiveness, that he's going to forgive if you're truly sorry. Like, I just like people to know things like that, like really
I
you
think
know
it's really important,
know your
especially for the
religions.
parents.
Know it
Yeah.
all, because if that is what you choose to live your life by, then really know it well, because throughout the last 19 years, I've just seen so many spirits stay stuck because they fear something that they shouldn't fear
That's not worthy because of
you
something
know
that was indoctrinated into them. Yeah. It's really sad. It's really sad, especially when you're
oh
dealing with the spirit. It's so sad.
oh, Bradley. The old Edmonton, Alberta asylum is being converted to condos. We have some here in Ontario. Same thing is happening. Which is the
We had a
place.
church.
You better go check it out. Churches are one thing. At least
No,
you have
but
a,
they had to keep the front of the church, the one
yes.
downtown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
saw
had to
that
keep the
one.
front of the church and then they build.
The
They actually
facade.
filmed a
Yeah.
show there, and I'm like,
I know. I
not
know.
doing House of Gucci, but yeah,
No,
just
no, it's okay though. I don't mind so much churches. You're muted. I don't mind churches. Asylums are a little bit of a different situation because I've investigated a couple, and man, oh man. Oh, thank you, Judy. Stay safe and sane. We'll try on the sane, but we'll do our best on the sane. Yourself as well. Um, Asylums are really difficult because you have such a blend of different energies. Back in the day, it wasn't. You're on mute, Amelia. Um, I can't. Oh, no, I can't unmute. I can't. Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to pop off and link and come back on? Okay. While she figures it out, asylums are a mix of people. Back in the day, you had people, if you were sick, you went there. If you had mental illness, you went there. If you were a criminal and claimed insanity, chances are you would go in there. Then you would rule the roost against people who were very vulnerable, the most vulnerable. Heck, if your husband didn't want you and he wanted a younger woman, for example, you and the kids would go to the asylum.
Yeah.
And then, so now you've got people who are completely know what's going on, of sound mind, and they're in a very vulnerable situation. So the
Mhm.
experiments took place in some of these locations. But just think about walking into a location like that afterwards. That is going to attract so many, let's say, more negative energies, heavier energies. And when somebody passes away there, they stand a really good risk, especially if they're people whose families didn't want them or didn't want to take care of them or
Yeah.
couldn't, or whatever the case may be. What I can't not tell you how many situations I've run into like that.
Prison inmates.
That too.
Yeah, they were there as well because they
That's
had
right.
nowhere to put them, so they all went into these homes and these
Yeah.
buildings, and you would
Mhm.
walk the hallways with them.
Chemically medicated ghosts. Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. So now they've got these huge properties that are no longer used because they're pretty much a thing of the past, for the most part. And yep, shadows, I know. But now you're going to make apartments out of them. I don't know. I can't see that going
We need to
well.
build a team. We need to build a bigger
Yeah.
team.
Bradley has done many of these locations, haven't you, Bradley? He's done all kinds of these places when he lived, when he was living in Saskatchewan, because there's tons of them,
Yeah.
But I think it's just really, really sad. There are so many locations. Yeah, see, yeah. There's so many locations like that. And I can't imagine owning one of these places.
Mm.
You have to clear them all.
I wish I could afford to buy them all up and clear them and
You could
wish
clear
I
them
could do-
without, though.
Yes, I know, but I
Yeah.
just wish that I could do it myself so that I could make sure that these places go to the wrong people
It's
because
true.
the prices are low and they could profit. So you're already putting an
Not even
energy of
anymore.
greed in there.
They they do buy them when you pay a good buck for them. I've seen prisons get converted into apartments right here in Ontario.
Well, I'm
Yes.
wondering what they're going to do with Alcatraz.
Mm.
Still
And
trying to figure out that one.
residential schools are the worst, he said. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh,
we've
so many
cleared, I think,
issues.
3 of them. One
So,
of them was so
sad.
close to one of the families we were helping that the only way she got clear and stay clear is if we had to do the school because they were so close. And when the school was done, the family's home remained
peaceful.
Yeah, it is
and
really
holding
hard.
and holding.
Last
Yeah.
I heard, I
Yeah.
don't hear from them anymore. It's sad in a way because you become really close to people that you help, especially
I think
especially
with
those
her,
that go
she just
on and
doesn't want to
on.
bother you. Yeah.
Mm,
Unless there's something really, she knows how busy you are and she won't contact you, reach out unless something's wrong.
yeah, and they're very emotional. I agree.
Oh
I
my
agree.
gosh. Yeah.
And they're everywhere. That's a show in itself.
That is extremely emotional. It's hard to go there without getting political too, though.
Yeah,
It's a tough
which we
one.
can't do.
We
Yeah,
can't do. And, just under my breath.
no, it's
After
true.
3
Yeah.
elections and we're still in the same spot. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
But
yeah, Tamara said it's so sad that it's taken this long to clear them. Well, it's not for a matter of us not. I mean, we've come across them, we've done them.
yeah,
They're all over the world.
you have to be aware of where they are.
Yeah.
It's not like you can get a list.
No,
I
it's
don't know
true.
what he's saying. My eyes are shot.
Okay, hold on. I'll bring it up.
Thank you.
What are some safety precautions or that we can take when going to one of these places? Wow.
You're not going alone, right?
Safety precautions. Go with somebody, number one. Number two, don't break in anywhere because then you end up like with the police. That's a whole other friggin' problem. Oh, yeah,
Can't
it's
get you
great.
out of that one to say.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not alone. And basically, grounding yourself is always a good thing to do. Just get a grounding technique.
Bradley, don't go.
Don't go. Yeah, that's
That's
exactly.
the
That's probably
safest
the
thing
best.
to do, Eric, is not go. Thank you, Brad.
That's right. I know. No,
I
Bradley, that's good by telling us because then we can clear them. And we
Yeah.
can clear them. The one that we cleared, the first one that we cleared, we found it very interesting because I think the tribal community in that area became aware that there was a major shift that happened and it cleared because when we went back to look a few days later, they seem to have put in spirit guardians. Um, maybe it's an ancestral thing for them, an elemental thing for them, but they put them in, and we thought, wow, that was really fast. So obviously,
It was
you
like,
know, being the
whoa, the light.
spiritual community,
Yes.
yeah, they figured it out really, really quick, which was really nice for us. It felt like so rewarding, and the fact that they were aware of it and that they were continuing on to protect the land and the building, and they just knew that their babies were safe.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
One of the most emotional clearings we've ever done
Mm-hmm.
was the first. And they're all emotional.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was a little shocking because I didn't know the history, and I'm ashamed that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, between the shame and the anger and
Mm-hmm.
the emotions of them rising and moving on and not being held back. I mean, they went through enough in life, and now in spirit they're held back as well.
Right.
It's sickening.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. So, and not a lot of people know. No, it's true. It's true. But you know what? I think with that, okay, hold on. Let me bring this up. There you go, Bubbles.
You should be very experienced in the art of protection and investigating, along with what not to do,
Mm-hmm.
or don't listen, maybe get thrown, or like he
Right,
did.
sanatorium.
Yeah.
Asylums, sanatoriums, prisons. I mean,
It's violent.
we've done prisons. I mean, a couple. One of them, I think I did an episode of haunted case files on. It
Mhm.
was like really active, and now it's going to be a condos.
It's a place of violence.
It is.
There's going to be
is.
residual energy. There's going to be people
I have
pulled
filmed
back.
there a few times, and there's
Yeah,
not one
I saw
time
that
of
one.
not having an experience. Not one time.
No. And then there's tours that go through as well.
Mm-hmm.
That just keeps feeding it. That's the whole thing. Like these historical places, these locations, like I don't want to mention names because some of them have new shows out and they're friends, and I don't want to say anything, but these locations in the US, excuse me, sorry, they're cleared and then they're active again. There's a reason. It's like it needs to stop. At one point you have to stop filming and let everything rest. And I get people want to do tours, but imagine if there were
Tours are
real
one
people
thing.
stuck behind, though.
But yeah, tours are one thing. I think somewhere along the lines, I think it comes into play where you have to make a decision of what's right and what's wrong. It's integrity.
Yeah.
I think people have to, you got malevolent things in there. You got some hardcore people filming and doing shows, and they want something crazy like that, or they're experienced enough to go in and deal with it. But when there's nothing worse than seeing a spirit. I mean, if the spirit wants to be there and they're happy there, by all means.
How do you know it's that spirit though?
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to, well, you can use a seasoned person will know if they're dealing with a mimic or if they're dealing with an actual human spirit. The behaviors are different. A mimic can only go so long before showing their true characteristics.
Yeah.
But any spirit who is grounded can be moved on, and they can come back and forth. If they really love it there that much, they can come back. It makes it so hard when people say, well, they have the right to be here, but they can come back. But minus all the pain, the baggage, the hardship, the sense of loss, missing their families, missing, they're people without bodies. They can come back as many times as they want. Nothing in the rule book says that they can't, but when for example, you have a child at one of these locations, I'm just like, I would be really, really annoyed as a parent if that happened to one of my kids. And,
you think it's fun to talk to them.
Yeah. And then something else comes along, something else, because we've assisted, other researchers in situations like this. And then something nasty follows them home. And it's like, well, what about the child? And you don't hear about them. Then they stop the contact because they think that they've been communicating with this child all the time. This child is hiding. That little child that's there is hiding because there's something that's coming in around the corner that's scaring that child. You're not communicating with that child.
No.
That's not the child's attention that you're getting. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases, I sure have seen it. I've been to a lot of haunted places. And I think it's sad. And if you don't know the difference, maybe you need to think a little bit about what you're doing or what you're doing wrong. And ill intent is a big problem. Yeah, you're right. It is, Brad.
Is it ever?
Is
it ever?
Tamara, be interesting to see the state of the people who live in these condos.
Oh my gosh, Tamara, downtown Hamilton, I want to see that one church that went into condos. I'd like to see how that's faring because that is one old church.
That's old church.
The one that's on the corner from my house that was built in 1692 is on its third or fourth restaurant. There's a reason for all of this. And I can tell you, I'm not going to give the name of the restaurant because I don't want to do any harm.
Right.
Eric will know exactly what I'm talking about. I was in there with a relative of his for lunch, and I left my food on the table and put cash down. I had to walk out because that's how sick I got being in there. This is a church from 1692. You're talking about horses and buggies coming and going from miles to come to church. Miles and miles, because there's nothing out here at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I could smell the incense and I could see, the funerals going by, and that was my visual from my seat. So yeah, it was I couldn't stay there. It was a really, really uncomfortable feeling. And even when I go around it in the strip plaza that's nearby, even if I have to go into one of those stores, I can feel that energy come across the parking lot from that, because it's at the front part of a strip plaza, because it's so old. It has its own parking.
Right.
And I can tell you, it is, you want a haunted place, you can go have a beer there, honey. It's that haunted. That haunted.
Right.
Alberfoyle Mills, another one.
There's all kinds of them. I mean,
yeah, but places that you're actually having dinner and that's not the one that I was talking about. That's a whole other one. It's actually a good feeling when you go to Alberfoyle Mills. It's not dark.
Sometimes it's the constant attention investigators that make it worse. And I'll tell you, well, because I've seen it happen many times, but I'm going to use this house here as an example. This house is 1872, very, very haunted. And people used to want to, and I'm only going to go back the last, 11, 12 years. because it was apartments before that. It went from being this big manor house for the original family who kept it to very like the late 60s. Okay. And then it was purchased. It sat vacant for a while, which was really sad. Then it was apartments and oh my gosh. So the last 12 years have been spent undoing all the crazy that everybody else did, which put the spirits in a lot of distress. But then the owner before Wayne had it as a B&B. Once people started realizing it was haunted, they started wanting to come in because Wayne kept it as a B&B for a while. It hasn't been a
With the
B&B
best
for about
potatoes ever.
5 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a home now, as it should be. But
Don't try to walk through.
no, that's happened. People
I
just
know.
walked
That's why I
in.
mentioned it.
They
Don't
just walk in.
It's not a
They
public
think it's
place.
a movie set. No, it's not. It's a home. Oh my gosh. I had two elderly ladies 2 weeks ago on the front veranda.
I don't get
out,
it because it clearly looks lived in.
I know they're trying to look in the window. It's full on curtains, all fully loaded, and Wayne was doing the columns, you know, and it was just like they're like, oh, well, we didn't know anybody lived here. How did you miss the cars in the driveway
All
and the
of them.
recycle bins in the front? What
It's
the
not
hell
like
is
there's
wrong
only
with you?
one. There's more than one there. It's a
Oh, we're
long
so
driveway.
sorry. You need to call Wayne right now.
Bradley wants to book a room.
Oh, shit. Well, we wouldn't have to worry. But the thing is, like, continuing back on, is just like people were coming in and wanting to stay here, wanting to investigate the house. And it was allowed on a few occasions. And unfortunately, people, just because they want to research, or, you know, some are better than others, some have been at it longer than others, some just see it on TV, some just want the experience, and they just open doors themselves because they don't really either oh no, we're full on going to open doors, or B, they don't know they're opening doors because they want so hard to communicate with the spirits that are here. And we would always tell the spirits, even when we would film TV shows, we'd say, okay, this is what's going on. If you want to partake. If not, at least you know what's going on, you know. And they're always very sociable, but there are a couple of occasions where dark things have come in, and it was usually after investigations. Yes, of course I do.
She's there right now.
Yes, yes. I sold my home in Burlington to Merrill, and I'm here now full time. So been here full time since like 2019. Part time before that was working. So, but of course I do. I stay anywhere haunted. I love it. But you know, that's the thing, is sometimes investigators go into these locations and they just start opening doors. You know, they want to communicate, or they start bullying, or I command you to do this. I demand that you do that. And
it's not like a method. It's stupid. Provoking is not a method.
No, you really do have to be careful. But we're going to do a station and sponsor ID before we continue.
I almost forgot our favorite. You are listening live to The Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and myself, Amelia Pisano. We are the guests. You're the guests. We're the guests. Tonight is a Q&A, and it is Thanksgiving in the USA. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our American friends and family. We're broadcasting live from the gorgeous city of New Orleans on 105.3 FM radio. We are United Public Radio, streaming live on UFO Paranormal Radio, I believe, and International Public Radio. Never remember those. Our intro and outro, courtesy of the amazing and award-winning Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, Justin Snicker. You can find his music, and that is his voice. You can find his music on Bandcamp, Amazon. You can find him on Facebook and on Instagram. Check him out. Google him. He's got all kinds of amazing music. And our sponsors from the beginning of time, the inception to now, and hopefully forever, the amazing people at Folgers Coffee. Thank you so much. And happy Thanksgiving, Folgers. Hope you're having your Folgers with your dessert. Don't forget it with that pumpkin pie.
There we go. But yeah, so I think sometimes the researchers are the culprits. And I think it doesn't help when you have a lot of shows that emulate certain sort of behavior. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some great shows out there. There's some great shows. And there's more and more shows coming up. And I'm going to plug one right now because I really love how they do things.
Ouch.
And that is Destination Fear.
Yes.
It is one of Zach Bagan's productions, and I will hand it to him. It's a winner because you've got 4 young people who are going in there. I don't know that I necessarily agree with sleeping by yourself because they do say, oh, you should have you should do a buddy system sort of thing, but they are in communication with one another. But I have to say, it's one of the better shows that I've seen in a really long time because they go in with such fresh eyes and a different approach. They're very respectful, and they listen, and it's really nice to see. There's no aggression. There's nothing. They do their homework. They look at the research. They talk about it. And when it's all said and done, they're being interviewed, or they're interviewing, or just, taking a camera and talking into it, saying, this is what I felt. And this is what it did for me. And I'm like, you know what? I really like that. So I really wanted to give them a plug because they really are. It really is a great show. If you haven't seen it, do catch them.
He's come a long way in his investigation skills as well. He's come a long way from the inception. Right. He's grown a lot.
Well, it's you just get better and better at what you do at the end of it all.
From the experience, right? When trial and error is how they started, really, if you really watch them.
Yeah.
They were very much in the beginning, almost like a Blair Witch Project kind of show. And then it just went into...
It got really good. It got
really good. And he got better. But they were known, I will say it, they were known to provoke. He was known to provoke. Mm-hmm. He's not so quick to do that anymore. Mm-hmm. He's had a lot of issues, but very smart businessman.
No, for sure. Sure. But that's the kind of productions you need more of, that shows respect. And it shows that, you have to respect, not just from your standpoint, but you have to realize that some of these locations command respect. Mm-hmm. And that will determine whether you come out unscathed or not. It's the proper way to do things. I'm not one for going in and challenging anything. Something gets in my face, you'll hear about it. I'm like, not having it. No. That's not, but you have to have a real healthy respect. But, it's like, what are you just going to go start poking the bear with something you can't see? It's Wayne's favorite line. I'm like, yeah, it's right. It's just it's like going to a caged animal, like a tiger, and just poking at him. When you can't see
and expecting not to get bit. I feel a lot of disrespect with military locations. When I do go to the Warplane Museum, which I have many times, and it wasn't to investigate, it was to look at the planes. I just love being there. I will sit outside of the airport at the picnic benches and just sit there, and I just love the energy there. I always say when I walk in, thank you for your service. If you need to communicate with me, I'm here. If you don't, I'm fine with that as well. Because I do get a lot of messages, and I do try to reach out, because a lot of those people that are there, their families are still here.
Yeah.
And we're close by where we live. So I have done that. Right. The Museum of the Naval War Museum in Massachusetts, I remember going by there, and the same thing. Thank you for your service. And I was at a distance. I didn't see them up close. Mm-hmm. And on my video of the water and the Naval Museum, you have voices calling out from the ship deck. So it was pretty cool. And I wasn't expecting it. I was just videotaping it because I love the water and I love ships. Yeah. Pardon? Oh,
bye, Christine.
Oh, good night.
Yeah. She's Australia, so it's like that. It's not late like it is here. But thank you for tuning in. Always nice to see you. But
it's afternoon. She's probably having lunch.
That's right. But no, I you know what? I agree. There's a right way to do things. There's a wrong way to do things. I think It's so hard because you're dealing with different people. Like all investigators come with different mindsets, different techniques, different religious backgrounds, if any. Um, I mean, we've talked about this before too. Some people don't believe in angels and demons at all. Other people believe they're all extraterrestrials. Other people believe that no extraterrestrials, they're all angels and demons. We don't know that they're not one of the same.
No, we really don't.
No. Like, thanks, Christine. But yeah, it's really, I'm kind of torn with a lot of that. I'm half and half, because I think people who are involved in the paranormal eventually always go to ufology and the study of extraterrestrials and such, and only because I've had my own experience with both. And when I think back to some of the experiences I had, now being a little bit more versed in the other, I think back, I'm like, I wonder if that was an abduction. I wonder if that was contact. I wonder if...
Oh, 2020. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I go back and I think to myself, maybe this, I mean, I know I had a demonic experience, but I'm thinking, maybe some of those visits that were coming in, and the sleep paralysis maybe was not, I mean, because that happened like into adulthood, the sleep paralysis, thinking, you know what, maybe that wasn't so much, because right in the middle of the day one time that I had it. I had two with a few months apart, and then I remember being in this house and, around 2 or 3 in the morning, it'd be like, oh, the witching hour, and the house would start to shake, and I would hear this. I mean, you could hear when the planes would come in, like the cargo planes, but then you could hear, it's hard to explain when something would come over the house and stay, because the house would had a vibration to it. And it would just kind of hover over the top, because it was a high house too. And it would just kind of hover for a bit, and it was just, I don't know. I could just hear something very, very faint. Yes, Tamara, like a hum. Like the haunted forest of Romania. Humming, droning in the background.
Yeah.
Portal. UFOs all the time. Portal, humming. That's exactly right. That's exactly, but very, very faint in the background. So I don't know. I think you have to, as a researcher, you'll have your beliefs challenged, but I think you have to challenge your beliefs. I think you have to, I mean, definitely to test them. I think you have to take all of that with a grain of salt. I mean, have your faith, absolutely, because faith in whatever is usually what's going to get you out of any situation, because again, I think it comes down to your state of mind with all of it.
Absolutely. Hope they're paying attention.
Say what you mean what you say, follow through.
Absolutely. Kind of like parenting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly like parenting.
Yeah.
Parenting toddlers.
Follow through.
Toddlers.
Follow through.
No, exactly. Exactly.
Parenting, management.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I think right now too, as we get into the fall, I mean, Amelia and I talk about this all the time, because people who are depressed, high levels of anxiety, that amps up in the fall. Shorter days, colder days,
electricity in the air.
But I also think the state of the world right now weighs heavy on a lot of people. You have a lot of division, you have a lot of anger, you have a lot of fear, you have a lot of anxiety, because you just don't know what's coming. You really don't.
Nobody does. It's too much uncertainty. There's just too much.
And then how, you have people who maybe have lost people during this time. And, when you start putting all of that into the pot, and you start mixing it together, it's a recipe for, I don't know, I say unwanted attention. And I do that because I mean, again, because we work on with so many people going through it, about their sightings because of ridicule. Oh,
Yeah,
hello. Who took my mojo? I love that. I love it. Because about their sightings because of ridicule. No, it's true.
yeah.
You are 100% correct on, looking into.
Well, you could lose your job for speaking about things like that, depending where you work. So
it has happened. Look at with Dr. Irina when we were talking last Wednesday, and she was talking about the Patagula incident, and there was the one man, he's just like, he was afraid to come forward with it. The one guy did. The younger guy's like, no, I'm just going to come forward with it.
Well, it was ruining his life. Yeah.
Well, the older guy's like, no, I've got a job, I've got a family.
Yeah.
And I think things were not as accepted then as they are now.
They are, but I mean, I think everyone has people in their family that looks at people like us like we're insane. I don't know. It's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than not. You're absolutely right about that. But there are people who are deathly afraid of speaking up because they may be, and you don't know about their history either. What if they've had mental health issues?
And then there's a fear that they won't be taken seriously.
That's probably the biggest one.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Bradley says, I was at a sanatorium in the nurses' building, the 3rd floor. The whole building shook. Still have no idea where that came from. Do
you want us to rewind for you and take a look?
E.T. Yeah. No, and Tamara says, yes, people are dying alone during COVID, and it's very sad.
It is very sad. And when you think about the beginning of the lockdown, where some of them, because there was so much misinformation and lack of information that they couldn't bury anybody for months, I can't imagine what that energy is like. I can't imagine. I can't. And as a collective, we're just bouncing this negative energy at the world. And we're all feeling it in one way or another, whether we're following the rules or not. Everybody's got anger inside of them now.
We're all in this together.
We are, sadly.
At the end of it all, we're all in this together.
And if we don't change the vibration, we're in trouble.
See, that's something else people don't get. It is all about vibration and frequency. It really is. And it's when I work with people, I try to work with them based on different frequencies. So let's face it, a frequency, vibrations, I mean, if that can heal the physical body, can you just imagine what it can do for the mind and the spirit? Your energy can do so much. Malevolent, negative energy cannot exist in a positive space filled with positive vibes, as we say. I always say high vibes, but in a different way. But they can't exist in it. And it just helps you to take control a lot easier. Now, that goes a bit different for extraterrestrials. I mean, it does, because I've had my own encounters. And I have an elderly friend of mine who, I've known now for, probably about 4 years. And you came on board right after him. And just lots of extraterrestrial experiences, hated them, just, fought it. And when with experiences with me, I started really dreading it. I mean, they're like lurkers that come around in your bedroom at night. That's just not cool.
I know.
It really is not. And I'm trying to explain to this elderly man, it's like, you need to relax. Like, what? It's like, you just ease into it. It really, I think if you have a better understanding of why they're there, what they want, and again, that's going to depend on the ET that's in question. Some of them definitely better than others, and some of them get more of a bad rap, and so on and so forth. But I can speak from my experience. I think once I started to relax about it, there's no angst.
No.
And I'm learning more and I'm accepting the information.
I think I'd fall off my chair if one came in front of me. even with the work that I do, I think that I would fall off my chair. Yeah, I believe that's why a lot of people don't realize that they have experiences, because it's erased from their memory because of fear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I agree.
But you're a lot more relaxed about it. And but the whole thing is, when you're having experiences every day like you are, you're eventually going to be relaxed.
Well, in one form or another anyway, but
yeah,
you can change the land's energy. Yes, I actually work with a colleague of mine, and you could do that through remote viewing also. And you can work with ley lines, and you can shift them, you can unclog them, I guess, build up. There's lots of things that you can do with that. And yes, iron stakes, absolutely. Iron stakes. But yeah, it's not like the experiences here all the time, but they're enough where, you become aware of it. And it's like, I think when you realize, and that's the key, it was a lot of work getting me to realize, like, okay, I think these guys are all right. They're okay. And then it's kind of like, all right, I can ease into it. I can go to sleep. Whereas the first time one was here, I'm like, nope, absolutely freaking not. I roll over, I'm going to bed. I want nothing to do with you, man. It's just, I feel like a really rude hostess.
Oh, no.
Let them just like standing there,
I imagine they're used to that kind of reception.
Yeah, now it's okay though. Now it's just like, here's something moving around. It's like, we know the sounds of the house. We know the sounds that the spirits make, and it's an old house. So you have to bear all of that in mind too,
And the land.
All of it, yeah.
Yep.
So only did one ET case, never found anything. ET must have went home, maybe.
Did you look for a phone?
Yeah, right. My experiences are very positive. No, see, exactly. There's so many people now. It's almost like it's becoming a movement. I always say something that was, and I always say, I've started because I've been researching more, especially for the gray zone. We're talking a lot more about it. And the ancients really did embrace, ETs, extraterrestrials. And I say extraterrestrials, they could very much be terrestrials. They very much could have been here first the whole time, here as we speak. They could be us in the future. We could be very much, part of them. Like, this is something we all need to kind of bear in mind. But the ancient people knew enough to emulate them, to leave so much information behind in their experiences with them. Just go look at all the cave art. Just look at out of place artifacts. It's just like there's tons and tons and tons of stuff. Ancient civilizations, everything. Bear all that in mind, Hogue and Isaac. Thanks for tuning in.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Thanks for joining us.
And then all of a sudden it went very taboo and everything was being kept from us. That's a control thing. You're not allowed to know about it. You're not allowed to know, only who's going to know about it are the powers that be. We want the technology. We want to know what's going on. I think maybe now we are getting into an age where it's becoming accepted again. It's like we're relaxing about it, or we're becoming more educated about it. I think with that, people are opening up. It's not all scary.
No. Sometimes I think that people always gave negative accounts because that was what was expected, maybe. And that's the way. I can't tell them that I had a positive experience. They think I'm completely crazy. I wonder if that's what happened many years ago with their stories.
Well, I
Not
think,
just lack of information,
you
but
have military and government showing up at your door saying you didn't see that. Okay.
yeah, that whole
Let's
Men in
just
Black
say I didn't.
flash. Yeah. And I wonder if they were told to say that they feared and this happened. Of course there's going to be stories and experiences where there's fear. But I often wonder if some of them were told to tell the story that way, because you hear so many
Of course.
positive experiences.
For
And of
sure.
course, with the internet and like you said, all the information nowadays, it's a different story. We know not to fear it.
A lot of people are coming forward. Look at how many people that we have had on our show. Just this, let's just use us, because I mean, we do. We can only speak for ourselves. But how many amazing guests have we had who have had really great experiences?
Yeah, that's true.
And they're actually saying, no, I'm reaching out. I want to know more.
Yeah, almost all of them.
Filmed gray. Oh gosh, okay. Which YouTube are you on, Mojo? Because I'll go back in afterwards and I'll look for it.
Yeah, because we can't click that.
We can't click it. We can't click it in chat, but I will put it up here for people to look at. Are you on international or are you on UFO paranormal?
The red, isn't that YouTube? Oh,
It's
which
YouTube.
channel?
Yeah, which
Oh my
YouTube channel are
gosh,
you
I'm
on?
thinking Facebook pages.
No, I understand, but you're tuning into our show. Which
What does it say? Does it say UFO or international?
yeah. I'm just
I'll
wondering
figure
which one of our
icon for it.
network channels you're watching the show on.
What are you watching us on? I think he's looking at, he's giving you his.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay. I'm just wondering which one of our network. We have two YouTubes going simultaneously. So I'll have to go check them both out afterwards then, and we'll figure it out. So thank you. Yeah, love to see that for sure. But see, like, you've had good experiences with Grays. Mojo, I'm just shortening it. Makes my life easier. UFO paranormal. Okay, we'll go check that out. Have you've had experiences with Grays? Have they been fairly benign? You're okay with them, or have they been scary? Yes. Okay. So, yeah. So there you go. Not everybody has bad experiences with Grays. I'm okay with Grays now. they're quite interesting. They're very curious. Curious little dudes.
I have a different opinion, but yeah.
Cole Harbor, Nova Scotia. Yeah, it's like Shag Harbor also.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys got a lot out there with UFO experiences.
Well, the ocean.
Both tall. Okay, see, here's something I'm curious about then. Both tall and short Grays and a mantis. Okay. What was the mantis like?
Yeah.
We always hear about the Grays. I mean, tall and short. Yeah, I've experienced those. But what about mantis?
I'm curious about that as well. I'm glad that you're asking him, because of the stories we've heard are few, and we want to see if your experience is similar or different.
Yeah. Well, some people don't like them at all. Other people are like, no, we're okay with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's always nice to hear different perspectives. Yeah, just feel free to type it. We'll watch it.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're narrowing down on our time, but 7 foot tall inside the craft. Ooh.
Did you have fear with the mantis, or did you feel at ease? That's what we're curious about. I don't want to leave any dead air because some people are not watching.
I can see the top half behind a lit panel. Oh.
Okay. How did you feel when you saw that? Do you remember the feeling that you had inside of you? That's a curiosity here.
Not all. Right.
Okay. Okay.
Were you comfortable with it, or did you feel like, shit, I got to get out of here? Oh, showed no emotion, but just stared at me.
Okay.
That's a little awkward when you're up there. Up there? You got
we don't know. You might have been just beside your house. We don't really know where you were.
You were excited. That's interesting. So
interesting.
You didn't feel threatened then?
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, you didn't feel threatened.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, one more bottom.
I tried to pull up my camcorder to film. The lights went down right to the very
Oh
end.
my gosh.
It's
Oh,
like,
Sherry's got something there.
Sherry took a pick of 2 grays at my office door.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
There, you have as many visits as Michelle, Sherry.
I know. Didn't feel threatened at all. Filmed from 2009 to 2017. I will definitely check out your channel. Absolutely. You like our channel, I like your channel. So
all 10 of ours. All 10 of ours.
I know.
It's hard to get those likes because we're on so many. It's so hard.
I know it's hard. It's hard, but but it just go. Oh, you're welcome. It just goes to show. See, Sherry, like for the most part now, I mean, obviously being on edge, but Sherry's been on the show.
Yes.
And there's a whole lot of
she's fascinating
experiences with extraterrestrials, but you didn't always feel threatened until more malevolent things came in. You were quite comfortable. Have you seen the lizards? Oh, Tamara, the reptilians, Dracos.
Yeah. They're
some people
now.
like them, other people
family now.
Yeah, it's a take them or leave them thing. Some people are like okay with it, apparently, and
I have yet to feel that comfort.
Yeah, I don't find them overly.
I don't have
fuzzy,
that kind of. I don't have that kind of experience.
No, they're not real fun.
But it's mutual. They don't like me either.
Yeah, this is also true.
Yeah, it's very mutual. They do not like us.
But when you're talking about reptilians, how many people do you think are seeing reptilians and they think it's demonic? It wasn't comfort at first.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Tamara says they don't like me.
Yeah, they don't like me. No. They don't like anyone who can move them. And it's not spiritually. But
encounters, I felt comfortable. Oh, with the mantis.
Yeah.
So we're bouncing around different chats. We've got like 8 chats going on right now. So, okay. Yeah. After numerous encounters, I felt comfortable. That's sort of what I'm saying also. Like, I think you just get used to them being around. And when you realize that they're not really, when you say you realize that they're not hurting or harming, but are they just scrubbing your memory?
Oh, that's a whole other segment.
No, I know. Yeah.
I would love to have a panel of experiencers just come together and discuss.
Yeah.
That kind of, and I would like them to have different experiences. Maybe it would help them.
Well, we can always look at doing like a future show and bring on a couple, who don't know each other and maybe just compare. It might be really interesting. That is possible. Yeah, it is, right?
I think so.
That's what I always tend to worry about because I feel I should know a lot more than I do. You get these little downloads and stuff, but it's like, it's not the same because it's especially when you realize that this is more of a lifetime thing. You think you should know a lot more than you do, and you should be a lot more comfortable than you actually are with them. Like Amelia, who's in complete denial, by the way.
No, not in denial. It doesn't happen.
We all know different, but for some reason, she's not having any of it.
Well, they're not. If it is, they're not letting me remember at all.
I will definitely check out the video because as soon as we're done the show, I'll have to go log into YouTube. So you come up on our soundboard. We're not actually in YouTube. We've got 8 different chats coming in from our different places that we're streaming. So I don't get to. We can't just go in and click on it from here.
All the Facebook channels are there too.
Yeah, but I will go on. I promise. So everybody just go on UFO Paranormal, look at Mojo, and look at his video, and subscribe to his channel. And subscribe to our channel.
That would be nice. Hit a like and maybe share us if you can.
Right? Yes.
Yeah, it would be nice because we're quite popular on SoundCloud.
I know.
Thank you, SoundCloud.
Big time. Yes.
Yeah.
But once we log off, I'll be able to go log into YouTube and I will go in and look up your video. Broke down. It's called The Figure on Board.
Cool.
Okay. We'll go check out some of your stuff for sure. I can almost assure you that our producer Joe is doing the same thing. So we will do that. But unfortunately, it is the end of the show already. already.
That
My
was
gosh,
fast.
it was. See, we know how to have fun. Guests can't make it. Guests, yeah, I think it's a Thanksgiving thing. So, oh, you're very welcome. So that is okay. And I need a separate iPad. No, I have other computers and
Oh,
phones.
there's
And
enough in front of us right now. If you could see the
you,
other side of this, you would be like,
yeah,
yeah, I can see why you want to
I've
log
got
off and then do it.
2
There's too many
monitors and a
screens.
phone, and but then
Yeah.
all you'd be hearing is ding, 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 and that'd be just
Yeah.
annoying for everybody.
Yeah.
So it went too fast. I agree. But with that being said, of course, we again have come to the end of another. It was an amazing segment because you guys make it a lot of fun. This
Yeah.
is I know this is sort of, one of those opportunities where we can hang out and we can just interact with you guys and
Love you,
have
Eric.
a bit of a parlay and just have a whole lot of fun. Love you too, Eric and Tamara.
Yeah, I had to
Our new
Eric
friend
had to come
Mojo,
on chat to
Sherry.
talk to me. Poor Eric. I miss
know.
you.
No, this is awesome, Bradley. We've had great people. So you guys really make it a whole lot of fun. So thanks to everybody
Yeah.
in chat who tuned in with us. And this was a whole boatload of fun. Now, next week, oh yeah, we're bringing back Sean Williamson. No,
Is it next week
I can't even
already?
wait to see what he's got in store for us because it's always freaking amazing. And Thursday night, oh yeah, even more fun because Joe, our producer, is going to be joining us. And it's always a heap full of fun. And we're always, it'll be like another just extra fun Q&A. And
Hello, December. Wow, it's already December.
we're in December. I know.
Oh, you just threw me with Sean Williamson. I'm like, no, he's December. Oh, I'm like, oh my God, it's December.
It is. It's a whole lot of already there. Wait, what? I know. Whatever. You already agreed. Zeta News. Hello. Hello. You guys are awesome. So thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you guys hopefully next week. We do have another Q&A coming up in December, just so y'all know. So make sure that you come back in and tune it again. Tune in every week because, we just love having you. So thank you guys. Good night. And we will see you next week. Happy Thanksgiving.